The sound of fists hitting flesh echoed through the dark gym as blood dripped onto the canvas floor, creating small pools of red that reflected the single overhead light. 25-year-old Emma Walsh stood frozen in the doorway, watching the man she secretly loved destroy himself, one punch at a time against an invisible enemy that lived only in his mind. Her heart shattered into a million pieces as she whispered his name into the empty night, but he could not hear her, over the sound of his own pain. This was not how their story was supposed to end, she thought, as tears rolled down her pale cheeks. Just 6 months ago, everything was different and beautiful and full of hope. 6 months ago, she walked into this same gym as a lost soul, searching for any kind of purpose, and found something she never expected to find in this broken-down building, in the heart of Detroit. She found him with his warm smile and kind eyes. She found love that felt like home after years of being homeless in her own heart. She found herself again after thinking that girl was gone forever. But tonight, as she watched 28-year-old Jamal Rivers stumble and fall hard onto that ring canvas, she wondered if love was really enough to save them both from the darkness that threatened to pull them under forever, into a place where light could never reach them again. Emma had moved to Detroit from a small, quiet town in Ohio after her entire life fell completely apart in ways that broke her spirit, so badly she did not think she would ever feel whole again. Her father, who was her best friend and her hero, passed away from cancer after a brutal 2-year fight that drained every dollar her family had saved over 30 years. The hospital bills were massive and crushing like a mountain sitting on their chest. Her mother, who was always so strong, had to sell their family home where Emma grew up and made all her childhood memories, just to survive and pay off the debt. Emma felt like the biggest failure in the world because she could not help them no matter how hard she tried. She worked 3 different jobs, washing dishes at a diner, serving coffee at a cafe, and cleaning offices at night, but it was never enough money. The guilt ate at her every single day like a disease. She stopped smiling at strangers. She stopped dreaming about her future. She stopped believing that good things could happen to broken people like her who carried so much pain. One cold February morning, while walking past Rivers' boxing gym on her way to another shift, she saw a handwritten sign in the window that said, "Beginner's class starts today, all welcome." Something deep inside her soul whispered in a voice she barely recognized, "Try it just once." Maybe hitting something hard would make the pain go away, even for just 1 hour of peace. She walked inside, not knowing that single decision would change absolutely everything about her future, and her heart, and the person she would become. The gym was old and worn down with paint peeling off the walls, but it had real character and soul in every corner that made it feel alive. The walls were covered with dozens of pictures of champions who trained there over 40 years, showing their victories and their struggles. The heavy bags hung from thick metal chains that creaked and groaned with every punch thrown at them. The boxing ring in the center had ropes that were frayed and faded, but still strong enough to hold dreams. Emma felt so nervous as she stood there in her old gray sweatpants and borrowed red gloves that were too big for her small hands. She did not look like she belonged in this world of fighters. Most of the people training were men who looked tough and experienced and knew exactly what they were doing. She was about to turn around and leave through that door and never come back when a deep voice behind her said, "Do not even think about walking out that door unless you want to regret it forever." She turned around fast and saw him for the very first time. Jamal Rivers stood 6 feet tall, with broad shoulders and strong arms and kind dark eyes that seemed to see right through all her walls and defenses. He wore a simple black shirt that was soaked with sweat and had his hands wrapped carefully in red tape. His smile was warm and genuine and made her feel something she had not felt in years. He said, "I am Jamal Rivers, and I run this place with my heart and soul. You look like someone who needs to hit something real bad and get some anger out. Am I right about that?" Emma nodded slowly, unable to speak because something about his calm presence made her feel safe in a way she had not felt since her father died. Jamal became her trainer first, and slowly over weeks her friend and confidant. He taught her how to stand properly with her feet planted and how to throw a jab without hurting her own wrist or shoulder. He never asked nosy questions about her past or why she looked so sad and tired all the time. He just showed up every single day with endless patience and quiet encouragement. Emma started coming to the gym 6 days a week without fail. Boxing became her therapy and her medicine. Each punch she threw released a little bit of the pain and anger she carried deep inside. Each round made her feel a little bit stronger and more like herself. Jamal noticed everything about her, even the small things. He noticed when she arrived with dark circles under her eyes from working late-night shifts at the diner. He noticed when she skipped meals because money was too tight to buy proper food. He noticed when she cried quietly alone in the women's locker room, thinking no one could hear her pain. One evening after everyone else left the gym, he found her sitting alone on the cold floor, staring at nothing with empty eyes. He sat down next to her without saying anything for a full minute. Then he said in a soft voice, "Whatever you are carrying inside, Emma, it is way too heavy for one person to hold alone. Let me help you carry it because that is what friends do." Emma broke down completely and told him everything through tears and gasps for air. She told him about her father's death and the crushing bills and the guilt that lived in her chest, and how tired she was of feeling like she was drowning every single day. Jamal listened without any judgment in his eyes. When she finally finished talking, he said something that changed her. He said, "You are one of the strongest people I have ever met in my entire life. And you do not even know it yet, but I see it clear as day." From that night forward, something real shifted between them, like the air itself changed. Jamal started driving Emma home after training every night so she would not have to walk alone in the dark, dangerous streets. He brought her home-cooked food and pretended his mother made too much so Emma would not feel bad about eating it. He waived all her gym fees completely and said she could pay him back by helping clean the equipment and mop the floors. Emma saw through his kindness and knew he was just trying to help her, but she was grateful beyond words. She also started noticing little things about Jamal that made her heart race fast. The way he laughed at silly jokes the kids made. The way he encouraged every young person who trained at the gym. The way his eyes softened like melted chocolate when he looked at her. She tried hard to push those feelings away because she did not deserve someone as good and kind as him. She was broken into pieces and he deserved someone who was whole. But the heart does not listen to logic or reason. The heart wants what it wants. And Emma's heart wanted Jamal Rivers more than anything else in this entire world. Jamal was hiding his own deep pain behind that beautiful bright smile he showed everyone. He grew up right here in Detroit in a rough neighborhood where violence was normal everyday life and hope was rare like gold. His father walked out and left when Jamal was only 5 years old and never came back. His mother worked 2 hard jobs cleaning houses and working at a factory to keep food on their table. Jamal found boxing at age 12 when a local coach saw him fighting another boy in the street and said, "Kid, I can teach you how to use those hands the right way for good." Boxing literally saved his life from the streets. It gave him discipline and structure and purpose and dreams of something better. He became a Golden Gloves champion at 19, and everyone in Detroit said he would go professional and make millions of dollars. But at age 22, during the championship fight that would change his life, Jamal took a terrible hit that damaged his right shoulder permanently. The doctors looked at the x-rays and said he could never fight professionally again because another bad hit could cripple him. His dreams died that night in a hospital room. He fell into deep, dark depression for 2 whole years. He pushed everyone away, including his loving mother. He stopped caring about anything or anyone. His mother prayed for him every single night on her knees, begging God to bring her son back from the darkness. Finally, one morning Jamal woke up and decided he would not let that injury define who he was forever. If he could not be a champion in the ring himself, He would create champions outside of it and pass on what he learned. He used every dollar of his savings to buy the old rundown gym and poured his entire heart and soul into training others. He found purpose again slowly, but he never found love or let anyone close. He built thick walls around his heart because he believed deep down he failed at his one big dream. So how could he possibly be good enough for anyone else to love? Then Emma Walsh walked into his gym on that cold February day, and everything changed like sunrise after a long dark night. She did not see a failed boxer when she looked at him with those blue eyes. She saw a man with a huge, generous heart who lifted others up. She saw real strength and genuine kindness and inner beauty. Jamal felt something he had not felt in 6 long years. He felt truly alive again. He found himself thinking about her all the time during the day and night. The way she bit her lower lip when she concentrated hard during training. The way she helped the younger kids with their stance without anyone asking her to. The way she never gave up even when she was completely exhausted. Emma made him want to be better than he was. She made him want to tear down those walls he built and take a real chance on love again. But fear held him back like chains. What if he was not enough for her? What if she saw him as just a gym owner with a busted shoulder and broken dreams? What if he opened his heart wide and she walked away? So he stayed silent and kept his deep feelings locked inside, even though it killed him a little more each day he saw her. Spring arrived in Detroit, and the gym prepared for the annual charity boxing event that raised money for youth programs in the struggling neighborhood. Emma had been training hard for 6 months straight, and Jamal suggested she participate in an exhibition match against another beginner. She was terrified, but also excited. Jamal trained her personally every single evening. They spent hours and hours together working on combinations and footwork and defensive moves. Those private training sessions became the absolute best part of both their days. There were moments when their eyes would meet and hold, and the air between them felt electric like lightning. There were times when Jamal adjusted her stance and his strong hands touched her waist, and his touch lingered 1 second too long. There were nights when Emma almost told him how she really felt, but fear stole the words right from her mouth before she could speak. The tension between them grew stronger and stronger, but neither had the courage to speak the truth that lived loudly in their hearts. 2 weeks before the big charity event, everything fell apart fast. Emma's mother called her crying hysterically, saying she had a serious stroke and was rushed to the hospital. Emma's whole world stopped. She rushed back to Ohio immediately to be with her mother. The medical bills started piling up again, like a nightmare repeating itself. Her mother needed emergency surgery and months of rehabilitation that insurance would not fully cover. Emma made a heartbreaking decision that broke her into pieces. She called Jamal with shaking hands and said through tears, "I cannot come back to Detroit right now. I have to stay here and take care of my mother and work to pay all these bills. I have to give up boxing and the gym and the life I was building there. I have to give up you even though it kills me." Jamal felt like someone reached into his chest and ripped his heart out while it was still beating. He wanted to scream that he loved her desperately and needed her, and could not imagine his life without her smile. But instead he said quietly, "I understand completely, and I really hope your mother gets better soon. Take care of yourself, Emma." They hung up the phone and both of them cried alone in the dark, wondering why life was so cruel to people who just wanted to be happy together. 3 long months passed and they felt like 3 terrible years. Jamal threw himself completely into work, training others, but the joy was gone from everything. The gym felt empty and cold without Emma's presence filling it with light. He stopped smiling at people. He stopped sleeping well at night. He would walk past the spot where she used to train and feel real physical pain in his chest. His mother noticed the change and finally sat him down one evening. She said, "Baby, I raised you to be brave and strong and fight for what matters most in life. Why are you letting the best thing that ever happened to you slip away without a real fight?" Jamal said, "Mama, she has her own life and responsibilities to her family. I cannot ask her to choose me over her sick mother." His mother shook her head slowly and said, "Son, love is not about choosing one thing or the other. Love is about finding a way to make it all work together. If you love that girl, and I know you do with your whole heart, then you get in your car right now and you drive to Ohio and you tell her the complete truth. Stop being so afraid of getting hurt again. The only real failure in life is not trying at all when it matters most." Those powerful words hit Jamal like a punch straight to his soul. His mother was absolutely right. He had spent his whole adult life afraid of failing again after his boxing career ended suddenly. He let fear control him and keep him from living fully. Emma made him feel alive and hopeful and complete as a man. She was worth fighting for with everything he had. She was worth absolutely everything. The very next morning, Jamal closed the gym and drove 6 long hours to the small town in Ohio where Emma was living. His heart pounded hard the entire drive. He practiced what he would say to her 100 times. When he finally arrived at her mother's small house and knocked on the door, Emma answered and her face went completely pale. She whispered, "What are you doing here, Jamal?" Jamal took a deep breath and said, "I am here because I am an idiot and a coward. I let you walk away 3 months ago without telling you the truth. The truth is I love you, Emma Walsh, with my whole heart. I have loved you since the very first day you walked into my gym looking lost and scared. I love your strength and your beautiful heart and the way you make me want to be a better man. I know the timing is complicated and life is messy, but I do not care anymore about any of that. I cannot spend another single day without you knowing exactly how I feel about you." Emma stood there frozen in the doorway with tears streaming down her face like rain. She opened her mouth to speak, but no words came out at first. Finally she whispered, "I love you too, Jamal, so much it hurts. I have loved you for so long, but I thought I was not good enough for someone like you. I thought you deserved someone who was not broken and drowning in problems." Jamal stepped forward and gently wiped her tears with his thumb. He said, "You are not broken, Emma. You are strong and beautiful and amazing. We are all carrying something heavy in this life. That is what makes us human beings. But we do not have to carry it alone anymore. Let me be there for you. Let me help you with your burdens. Let me love you the way you deserve to be loved." Emma fell into his strong arms, and they held each other tight like two people who finally found home after being lost in the wilderness for so long. But love does not magically solve every problem instantly like in movies. Reality hit them both hard over the next few weeks. Emma's mother needed constant care and attention, and the bills kept coming and coming. Emma worked double shifts at a local diner and came home exhausted every night, barely able to stand. Jamal stayed in Ohio to be with her, driving back to Detroit twice a week to run the gym and check on things. The distance and stress started taking a real toll on their relationship. They barely had quality time for each other. Emma felt guilty that Jamal was sacrificing so much of his life for her. She started pushing him away again, saying he should go back to his own life and forget about her and her problems. Jamal refused to give up on them. He said firmly, "I am not going anywhere, Emma. We will figure this out together, no matter how long it takes." Then came the terrible night that almost destroyed them both completely. Emma's mother had a serious setback and needed emergency surgery that would cost $30,000 that they did not have. Emma broke down completely in Jamal's arms. She told him she was selling everything she owned and taking 3 more jobs, but it still would not be enough money. She said, "Maybe I should just give up on everything. Maybe I am not strong enough for this life." Jamal grabbed her shoulders firmly and looked deep into her eyes. He said, "Listen to me, Emma Walsh. You are a real fighter. I have seen you get knocked down hard in that boxing ring and get back up every single time. This is just another round in your life. You do not quit now. We do not quit on each other. I have some money saved up from the gym. Let me help pay for your mother's surgery." Emma shook her head violently and said, "No, absolutely not. I cannot take your hard-earned money. That is not fair to you at all." Jamal said, "Love is not about what is fair, Emma. Love is about showing up when things get really hard. Please let me do this for you and your mother." Emma finally agreed through tears of gratitude and shame and overwhelming love for this man. Jamal paid for the entire surgery without hesitation. Emma's mother recovered slowly but surely over the next month. The bills were still heavy but manageable now, with both of them working. Emma promised him she would pay back every single penny, even if it took 10 years. Jamal said, "The only payment I want is for you to come back to Detroit with me when your mother is better. Bring your mother too. She can live with us in my house. I have enough space for everyone. We will make it work as a family." Emma could not believe what she was hearing from him. She said, "You would do that for us. You would take on that responsibility." Jamal smiled that warm smile and said, "Emma, you are not a responsibility to me. You are my future and my dream. Your family is my family now." That is what real love means. 2 months later, Emma and her mother moved to Detroit together. They moved into a small but comfortable house that Jamal rented near the gym in a safe neighborhood. Emma went back to training hard and started teaching kids' classes at the gym. Her mother slowly regained her strength and started helping with the gym's administrative work and bookkeeping. Life was not perfect, but it was beautiful and full of hope. Emma and Jamal built something real and lasting together. They supported each other through hard days and celebrated small victories. They laughed together and cried together and grew together as a couple. 6 months after moving back to Detroit, Emma participated in the charity boxing event she had to miss the year before. Jamal stood in her corner coaching her through every single round. When the match ended and the referee raised Emma's hand in victory, the crowd erupted in loud cheers. Jamal jumped into the ring and hugged her tight. He whispered in her ear, "I am so proud of you, Emma." Emma pulled back and looked at him with tears of joy. She said, "I could not have done any of this without you. You saved my life, Jamal." He shook his head and said, "No, Emma. You saved me first." That night after the event ended, Jamal took Emma to the rooftop of the gym where he had secretly set up string lights and soft music. The city lights of Detroit sparkled around them like a million stars. Jamal held both of Emma's hands and said, "I have something important to ask you." Emma's heart raced fast. Jamal got down on one knee and pulled out a simple silver ring from his pocket. He said, "Emma Walsh, you walked into my gym 1 year ago and changed my entire world forever. You taught me that real strength is not about never falling down. Strength is about getting back up every single time life knocks you down. You taught me that love is worth fighting for, even when you are terrified. You taught me that 2 broken people can build something whole and beautiful together. I want to spend the rest of my life fighting beside you and loving you and building dreams with you. Will you marry me and be my wife?" Emma's hands covered her mouth as tears poured down her face. She nodded over and over, unable to speak. Finally she whispered, "Yes. Yes, 1,000 times, yes, I will marry you." Jamal stood up and slipped the ring on her finger, then kissed her like it was the first and last kiss all at once. Around them, the people from the gym who had secretly gathered on the rooftop erupted in cheers and applause. Emma's mother stood in the crowd crying happy tears. The young kids from the gym chanted their names loudly. In that perfect moment, surrounded by love and community, Emma and Jamal realized something powerful and true. They realized that life will always throw hard punches at you. Bills will come. Sickness will happen. Hard days will test you. But when you have real love, and when you have people who show up for you, and when you refuse to give up, then you can survive absolutely anything. 1 year later, Emma and Jamal got married in the boxing gym, surrounded by everyone who mattered in their lives. It was not a fancy, expensive wedding, but it was perfect and meaningful. The boxing ring was decorated with beautiful flowers and string lights. Emma wore a simple white dress and Jamal wore a black suit. They exchanged personal vows they wrote themselves. Emma said, "Jamal, you taught me that I am stronger than I ever believed possible. You showed me that asking for help is not weakness, it is real courage. You loved me when I could not love myself. I promise to fight for us every single day for the rest of my life." Jamal said, "Emma, you walked into my gym and my life when I had completely given up on my dreams. You reminded me that just because one dream ends does not mean new better dreams cannot begin. You are my greatest dream come true. I promise to stand beside you through every round life throws at us." They kissed as husband and wife and the gym exploded with joy and celebration. Today, 3 years later, Emma and Jamal run the gym together as equal partners. They expanded it and added new programs for kids and women in the community. Emma teaches self-defense and boxing classes to women. Jamal trains competitive fighters who want to go professional. Emma's mother works happily at the front desk and loves every person who walks through those doors. They created a scholarship fund for kids who cannot afford training fees. They host free community events every month. The gym became more than just a place to train and sweat. It became a real family. It became hope for people who needed it most. Emma and Jamal also started a podcast sharing their story and talking about resilience and love and never giving up on yourself. Their story inspired thousands of people across the country who were fighting their own battles and struggles. The lesson they learned and shared with everyone who would listen is simple but powerful. Life will knock you down hard sometimes. Loss will break your heart. Bills will overwhelm you. Fear will whisper lies that you are not enough. But you are enough. You are strong. You are worthy of love and happiness and second chances. Do not let pride stop you from asking for help when you need it. Do not let fear stop you from taking chances on love. Do not let past failures define your future. Get back up every time. Keep fighting for what matters. Surround yourself with people who believe in you. And most importantly, believe in yourself, even when it feels impossible. Emma and Jamal proved that two people who were broken and lost can find each other and build something beautiful together. They proved that love combined with action can change everything. They proved that your current struggle is not your final destination. They proved that champions are not just made in the ring. Champions are made every single day when ordinary people choose to keep going despite the pain and fear. So if you are reading this story right now and you feel lost or broken or like giving up on everything, please hear this important message. Your story is not over yet. Your best chapters are still ahead of you waiting. The pain you are feeling right now is shaping you into someone stronger, someone wiser, someone who will inspire others one day with your story. Do not give up on yourself. Do not give up on love. Do not give up on your dreams, no matter how impossible they seem. Keep showing up every day. Keep fighting through the hard times. Keep believing in better days. Because just like Emma and Jamal, your breakthrough might be closer than you think right now. One decision, one moment of courage, one person who sees your worth. That is all it takes to change everything about your life. You are not alone in this fight. Millions of people around the world are fighting similar battles right now. Some days you will be strong, and some days you will fall. Both are okay and normal. What matters most is that you get back up. What matters is that you keep moving forward one step at a time. Your life has real meaning. Your story matters to someone. And the world needs the gift that only you can give. So take a deep breath right now. Wipe your tears. Wrap your hands. And step back into the ring of life with courage. Because you are a champion, and champions never quit fighting.